Hey everyone and welcome to Storytime. My name is Jake and today we are going to be looking at the subreddit r/idontworkherelady, where people tell us their craziest stories on when they got mistaken for being an employee at somewhere they didn't work. If you're new around here, please do hit subscribe down below so that you never miss out on another video. But for now, let's sit back, relax and enjoy some Reddit stories. You arrest a shoplifter and you want me to do what? This took place back when I was a new security guard, so the details are a little vague. This was about 15 years ago at everyone's favourite hellhole, Walmart. Okay, the backstory. I had gotten a job as a contracted security guard, a rent-a-cop. Basically, my job was to provide temporary security when a client needed something, say, for an event or a beacon. The contacts were often only for a few weeks, a few only for a day or two. This one had been ongoing for almost 2 months when I arrived to replace a security guard who had quit. Now, this took place when the Walmarts in my city had gone 24 hours, and this one had been renovating, which was why I was there. A lot of the staff were stressed from the renovations and trying to stock shelves with customers in the way. My job was to monitor the back door into the building and allow the contractors, only the contractors, access and ensure no one walked in and helped themselves because this was the main stockroom. These were 12-hour shifts, and due to a shortage of the guards from a flood, I only got a 30-minute break and I had to call one of our mobile guards to cover. Thankfully, there was a McDonald's in the Walmart, something I only went to on occasion, but they were okay with me eating in there. Also, I was told to keep my phone on me in case of emergencies. I was also told that, under no circumstances, was I to do the job of the loss prevention, LP, in the store, as I was not trained to do it and didn't work for Walmart. Anyways, most of the night managers were pretty chill when it came to me being there. But there was this one. We'll call her Karen. Yep, hair and all. She hated the fact that all I did for 12 hours, between 8 PM and 8 AM, was sit by a door and read or study. I was due to take provisional security guard test within the month, and she would frequently try to bully me into doing stuff that was not my job, like sweep the floors in the stockroom or help load pallets for the staff to restock shelves. This led to more than one phone call from my supervisor to hers, reminding them what was laid out in my contract. Also, if I did help out and got hurt, workers' compensation would not cover it because I was doing work outside my duties. After the third or fourth time this happened, she upped her game, even began to pester me while I was on break by trying to say I was taking too long, even though I only took 30 minutes. One thing I should point out is that I have hypoglycemia, so I would often buy a few things to snack on during the shift to keep my blood sugar stable. Mostly fruit, juice, water and nuts that I kept in a small cooler under my chair. She tried to tell me that I would not be allowed to bring this and that I was lying about my blood sugar condition to be a lazy pig. There was even one occasion when grabbed some stuff there and I went to pay and she ordered the cashier to close out as I got to the till and I was nearly late to my location because I had to get in line somewhere else. Needless to say, I started grabbing stuff on the way instead of there. She also tried to sneak in through the stockroom door because she parked her car back there and got angry when I wouldn't let her as this area was a construction zone and you needed PPE to event it, and would frequently tell me that a woman has no place doing this kind of work, and the only reason you took this job was to meet men. I started to document everything and gave copies to my supervisor when I got my shifts for each week. Sorry about the long intro, just painting a picture about how this woman was acting. All petty stuff. But after 5 weeks of this, anyone would reach a breaking point. Well, near the end of my 5th week, I'm at the McDonald's and decided to treat myself to some fries, when Karen came stomping up and I rolled my eyes. Think, what now? She glares at the tray in my hands and back to me and said, I need you to come with me now. I was a little worried and I asked what was wrong, and she points to a teenage girl, maybe about 16, we'll call Liz, crying her eyes out. I just caught a shoplifter and I need you to hold her for the police. I was a little stunned that she would ask this and said, sorry, but I can't do that. You have to get your own LPO to handle that. I should point out the reason we don't do this is if this is a wrongful arrest and went to court, I and the company I work for would be liable as well. She smirked at me and said, "Oh, I sent them home. Don't need them here if you are here, and why should we pay for more security than we need?" I was floored. I honestly felt my brain come to a screeching halt on this. Then, my phone started to ring, so I put my tray down to answer it. It was the mobile guards, who had cut my break short to deal with an alarm call nearby. I told them what was going on up front, and after a long pause and some very creative swearing, he told me he would call the night supervisor. As I put my phone away, I see Karen grab my tray and upend it into the trash. She glares at me and says, "Now get your lazy, fat butt up to the LPO office and start the paperwork." I've had enough at this point, and the cashier at McDonald's had seen what had happened and had flagged me over to hand me a fresh order of fries in a takeout bag. She even tossed in a couple of kid-sized cheeseburgers. I tell Karen to "do it yourself, it's not my job," and leave. She follows me, dragging Liz with her and yelling about incompetence and how she will have me fired. But she didn't follow me into the construction area. She didn't want to get her fancy shoes dirty. About 20 minutes later, my mobile supervisor showed up with another guard to cover my spot, and I thought, damn, I'm totally gonna get canned. He tells me to head to the office behind the customer service desk. When I get there, there's Karen, Liz, 2 cops, the general manager for this location, one of the LPOs, and my boss, the owner of the company. By this time, it was nearly 4 AM, so if he decided to make a site visit himself, then it was going to get crazy. He asked me to tell him what had happened, and before I could get a word out, Karen starts ranting that I was lazy, incompetent, and all I did was eat or sleep on the job and took long calls on my phone. She even tried to claim that I brought in a laptop and was playing computer games instead of doing my job. I've never even owned a laptop. My boss listens to this, then turns to me and asks what happened. So I explain it, and even told him that the cashiers in the McDonald's witnessed it. The LPO also confirmed that Karen had told us his shift that they weren't needed that night and had cancelled the shifts for them for the rest of the week. The general manager was furious and turned on Karen so fast I thought she was going to snap her neck. Also, my boss brought out a stack of papers and handed it to the general manager. Photocopies of the reports I had made on this woman's harassment. I had also had the guards that did the job on my days off to do the same. Learned fat in the type of work to document everything. You could have heard a pin drop when the general manager looked up from the first 3 pages and said that she heard enough. The cops left. Apparently, Karen tried to claim that I was helping Liz steal stuff and was trying to get me arrested too. The other guard covered the rest of my shift, and my boss told me to come and see him after my weekend, which started that morning. Found out later that Liz didn't actually steal anything and that Karen thought a bottle of Coke she was drinking came out of the cooler. But Liz had bought it from the vending machines outside. Also, Karen had been let go for breaking company guideline. She wasn't supposed to be able to cancel the LPO shift. And harassment of me and other contract guards. And theft for tossing my lunch into the trash. I worked at that location for another month after that, and not a single issue for the remainder of my time there. Sorry this was so long, this was my first encounter with this type of event while working this job, which I did for 5 years. I really enjoyed it for the most part, but I ended up getting hired on by the security crew of a contract I worked at for close to a year. I've got to give respect to this guy. I don't know how he stayed so calm as he did with that woman for like 5 weeks. He has the patience of a saint. I don't work here, lady, but I'll teach you about the joy of painting. I'll keep it pretty short, but I have some good memories from my favourite local fine art supply store. Besides working digitally on my tablet monitor, I still occasionally work with ink and watercolour. I don't usually take commissions for traditional art, since it can be more costly with shipping, supplies, etc. So I don't get out to the shop downtown often. I ran out of some shellac inks and needed to restock illustration board for Inktober, which merited a trip. I also had a good friend of mine, now roommate, visiting from the other side of the country. We both enjoyed the arts and decided to go together. It's a smaller shop and there's no formal uniform, just a name tag that staff wears. Most of their staff are younger since there are 3 colleges close by. I'm in my late 20s with a young face, went to university for art, and generally know my stuff. So I'm a big I don't work here lady target there. I also know the store well, so I don't mind pointing things out. Both of us are in the store down one of their drawing media aisles, and I'm explaining a few of my media choices to my friend. She's still learning, so she asks me a lot of questions. We've fallen into a rhythm with it. She went to go look at some Prismacolor pencils, and a sweet older lady timidly shuffles up to me. She quietly asks if the paints she has are good for beginners. I take a look at the paints, and they're all pricey, professional quality oil paints. I didn't see any mineral spirits or terpenoid on her either. I ask her a few questions about what subjects she's interested in, if she's worked with oil paints before, etc. She's brand new to all of it and hasn't done much since she was a kid, but she wants to learn how to paint landscapes. It's one of her bucket list items. We spend the next half hour or so going through the store. She's got a set of student acrylic paints with a good pigment base, not cheap feeling, that are much easier to work with when starting out. She learned that canvas pads were a thing, and I helped her pick out some brushes and a palette. I also let her know that there were plenty of Bob Ross episodes online and helped her add the link to her home screen on her phone. I haven't had much luck with finding a decent job as an art teacher since university, and don't work in a creative field while I'm going back to school for architecture. But being able to share art with other people like this is very rewarding. I've seen her one other time since then in the store. She got some more paint and we stopped to chat for a bit. I don't know if she knows I don't work there or not, but that's okay. My friend and I got a good chuckle out of it, and she didn't mind me being gone to help out. It still happens, and we both smile at it. Have never had a bad time at the art supply store yet. I really want to see this old lady's paintings now. That would be great to see what kind of progress she's made. Hey everyone, I hope you all had a really good day and that you enjoyed that video. If you want to check out some other videos, then click on screen right now, or check out the playlist down below. If you enjoyed that video, then please do leave a like. And if you want to submit your own stories, then you can do so by joining the Discord in the top link in the description. But thank you so much for watching, and I will see you very soon.